Hey guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about the Dougherty Dozen for just a couple of minutes. There were a few things that I came across and I figured that it would make for a good video. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, first things first, the privacy and safety concerns is obviously something that I talk about all of the time when it comes to Alicia oversharing, putting her kids in this position of where they're really well known now because of her oversharing and putting them, plastered all over her social medias. She's taken them out of the position to be, kids that are just living life. Like here's the whole thing. When you take a kid and you make them internet famous, YouTube famous, TikTok famous, whatever you want to call it, kids go through enough in their teenage years and their adolescent years. Kids are trying to figure out how to make friends. They're figuring out how to get good grades in school. They're trying to figure out how to be really good at the sports that they're playing, if they're involved in sports, or it might be playing musical instruments. They're trying to figure out how to maintain friendships. They might be trying to figure out how to combat bullying if they're experiencing that in school, which many kids do. So when you not only expect them to go through those life changes, but then you've also plastered them all over social media so that when they are on a vacation where it should be time to unplug, have fun, everyone's all good, you've taken that away from them for your own satisfaction. I've said before, Alicia could take her kids off of her social media and just post the grocery hauls, the meal prep, whatever she does, and she would still get views, but she knows that more views come from people that are overly invested in her kids, and that's why she continues to share them. I don't think that she'll ever take their privacy and say, no more kids until they're, 16, 17, and then they can figure out what they want to do, because that's just the way it is. And one of the issues with her oversharing is this idea of people showing up to their house. Now we know that in their, home that they're in most of the time, people know where they live. Alicia has laughed at it in the past. But in their vacation home, there were fans stopping by. And initially I was like, well, maybe, I know there were a couple of comments speculating whether or not Alicia knew. Like, oh, if the kids are just hanging out outside, maybe she's not aware that there's people that are stopping by taking photos with her kids. But good old Josh decided to pose with one of the fans that was obsessively going by their house and taking photos with their kids. So there's this photo that was on TikTok, and again, like Josh is sitting there wearing the school of one of his kids. There's no thinking, how can we not advertise where we live? How can we not advertise where our kids go to school? Instead, it's like they do the complete opposite and almost go out of their way to tell people exactly where they are. And it's a really weird thing to go through, because even if you're a parent and you're not on social media, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong as always, usually privacy for your children is at the very top of the list. Their privacy, their safety, and their well-being. And obviously well-being goes to physical, mental, emotional, all of the things kind of fall under well-being. So I would think that if that was a priority for you before you started posting the social media, it should carry through. And I just don't see any of that with Alicia. I really don't think that she cares. And the fact that she has laughed at the fact that Google has her address, people have stopped by the house before, now people are stopping by the vacation rental. The easier solution would have been, don't post while you're on vacation. This would have been a great time for her to take some time off social media. I mean, I would hate to see her screen time. The woman must be on her phone 20 hours a day. I'm not kidding, and that's not me exaggerating, in between using her phone to film footage, respond to comments, make TikToks, make Instagram, respond to emails, her screen time has to be absolutely out of control. So instead of carrying that through to vacation, this could have been an opportunity to say, I'm going to stay off of my device. We're going to create actual memories, some of which will be filmed and posted when we get home. There is nothing better than, as a kid, having your parent present. And yeah, sure, they can be in the same room as you, or they can be walking next to you on the boardwalk or sitting across from you at lunch or dinner. But when they're on their phone and they're filming and they're responding to comments, that is not real presence. And this is why I talk about presence over presence all of the time. It is so important to be fully present, listening to your kids, connecting with them, creating real memories that are not for social media. The other thing, and this is just so funny to me, she was recently allegedly exposed for lying. And there's this whole idea that Alicia is super mom. She wakes up at 4:30 in the morning and she's doing all of these things for these kids, and it makes other people look and be like, oh wow, she's so amazing. She's so amazing for waking up and getting minimal sleep and running social media and taking care of these 12 kids. Well, allegedly she's been lying, and her clock in her kitchen is rigged. So I will throw the clips so that you guys can take a look at it really quick, and then I will give my thoughts.
And
it's 6:38.
assess the situation. It's 5:25. So
Now I realize for some people this might be not that big of a deal, who cares, whatever. For me, it is really just a reminder of the silly things that influencers will lie about in order to make themselves look better, in order to make themselves look like the superior parent, the superior coach, the superior, whatever they're trying to portray to their audience. And she definitely wants to be super mom. She's the one who runs around all the time providing for these kids and taking the difficult kids and giving these kids, quote, the best life ever. So to me, it's a very odd thing to lie about. And if you're going to lie about something this simple, what else are you going to lie about? That's my question. Now, we talked about in the last video the food waste that she creates constantly, not just when they're on vacation, but also when they're at home. The extreme spending for content and the food that is either expired or just sits forever until it's thrown away because it's not used. And I said in my last video, make a vlog donating to a local shelter in the beach city where you guys were. And supposedly she said the homeowner took whatever we had left and donated it to their food cupboard for us. So let me get this right. You literally, who will spend hours blowing money at the supermarket, could not take 15-20 minutes to put the food that you guys didn't use in your vehicle to drive it to the local food bank. That could have been an amazing vlog. People would have applauded her. They would have said, hey, we can't say anything about the food wasted on this trip because it went to the shelter and we saw it. But unfortunately, when you have a history of half-truths and, not being transparent, people are going to see this comment like myself and say, if I didn't see it, it didn't happen. That's only because influencers and YouTubers have such a checkered past of not being completely truthful. So I'm sure that her fans ate this up, like it was on a silver platter. But for me, I haven't seen any proof of it. So I hope that's what happens, but I also don't believe it. And she should have done the cleanup herself and taken 20 minutes to take it to a local shelter, and that's it. I want to talk about Auntie Lauren for a second, everyone's favorite stan of the Dougherty Dozen. And no, she's not just a normal fan. She is absolutely a stan, in my opinion. Her behavior is very unhinged and scary. And if I was Alicia, I would stop literally watering this toxic, scary parasocial relationship. But what do I know? I'm just some idiot on the internet. But Auntie Lauren is not someone that I would want to feed a parasocial relationship with. But she posted this on TikTok and it says, bullying is, and it lists all these things: putting someone down, threatening someone, spreading harmful stories about someone, calling someone names, ignoring someone. Ignoring someone is bullying? I completely disagree. Maybe you're ignoring them because they're bad for your mental health. Maybe you're ignoring them because they treated you like a piece of crap and you're putting up boundaries. So not only is this incorrect, but she's also trying to veil criticism and concerns about Alicia's content as bullying. And this is just an easy cop out. It's an easy argument for someone to say, oh, you're bullying, you're being a bully, you're being a bully. And I know that bullying exists online. I am not, I don't have blinders on. I know that the internet can be really bad, but I would say 90% of what people call bullying is actually just criticism. Even if it's harsh criticism, it is not actually bullying. But Auntie Lauren to me is just a walking red flag. I would not want her anywhere near me or my kids or no. The one thing I did think was funny was they put a thing on Reddit of the Dad Challenge podcast video, and the comments were quite interesting, essentially just calling him the hypocrite that he is. But I know that the Reddit is a little new to all of this, so they probably just came across a video and have no clue how toxic he is. So either way, that's a different conversation for a different day. Now she has come back home and, of course, we're back to spending $1,500 at Wegmans on stuff that we probably don't need, garage full of junk and nonsense. And it's just spending for content. How much money can I spend on this trip so that I have a crazy thumbnail, a good title, keeping people interested? Like I said, if all that she was doing is hauls and meal prep, would I have an opinion? Yeah, a little bit, because of the food waste. The food waste is a problem and it does affect us all. But if you're gonna create food waste, but you're protecting your kids and you're not exploiting their medical history and their trauma and their, mental health issues or behavioral issues, then I would have a lot less to say. The last thing I want to talk about is she did a house tour of their beach house, and I really hope that that was posted after they left, but knowing her, who knows? When she pointed out one of the bedrooms for two of the kids that they were sharing, she wanted to make it a point to talk about their sensory issues. And this is, again, just one of those situations where it was completely unwarranted. It was uncalled for. You don't have to insert a health issue or a condition that one of your children has in every single video. You could have just said, these two kids are sharing this room. That's how it is. Move on to the next thing. But it's constantly talking about my kid with autism, so-and-so with fetal alcohol syndrome, so-and-so with the parents who smoked, the mother that smoked when she was pregnant, so-and-so with behavioral issues, so-and-so with a sexual past. It's constantly inserting and peppering these children's really tough pasts into her content nonstop. The last thing I'll touch on is Auntie Lauren seems to be posting a lot on Instagram. And one of the posts she said, there's always going to be someone out there who doesn't like what you do, doesn't like your style, your face. That's part of life. But I feed off that. I don't think I'd be where I am today if it wasn't for that. It puts a fire in my belly. It keeps me going so I can prove people wrong. What I will say about Lauren, Auntie Lauren, it's pretty easy to explain. The issues that people have with Auntie Lauren is the fact that she has named herself an auntie of a family that she doesn't know. She's wildly obsessed with children that she does not know. She is willing to literally defend. Alicia could literally have one of her kids like removed from her home, and Lauren would be there literally telling people, oh no, she's still the best person ever. She's someone who has built this absolutely insane parasocial relationship with Alicia, and it's been fed by Alicia too, so obviously it's both of them in on it. And she's someone who will call everything bullying and everyone else is being weird, but you're the one that's oddly obsessed with someone else's children and defending someone's actions wholeheartedly when there are actual issues that are being raised with the Dougherty Dozen. So even though you have made yourself an honorary aunt, which is still so weird, I just really don't understand what's going on with that woman. And I don't want to throw around any diagnoses or anything like that because I'm not a mental health professional. But the thing that I will say is I believe that Lauren is someone who, if she was on my radar and was a super fan of my kids, she is someone that I would definitely keep an eye on and not be nurturing an online quote friendship with her. And that's where I will leave it for now. I don't think that she needs to be called names or anything like that. She is a walking red flag though, and I think that her behaviors are very creepy. She also put up a post for one of their kids on Instagram. She really does think that she's part of this family, and I just find the whole thing so creepy. And I'm not calling her a creep, but I am calling her behaviors and her sides of her personality that she has put out onto social media very odd, and I think some of the behavior comes off as unhinged, and that's my personal opinion. So that's where I'm going to leave things for today. There were obviously a few things that unfolded, and instead of making separate videos, I decided to just make this one. There's a good reason why this family is being talked about, and if you fans of Alicia want to say that she is a super mom, that's your opinion. But do not tell commentary channels and people that actually see the issues with her presence and what she's putting her kids in harm's way. Don't go around telling them that they're bullies, because there could not be something more untrue. Commentary channels exist to have conversations and show the opposite side of influencer culture. Because if you raise the concerns on her channel, you're going to be deleted. Therefore, my comment section exists so that we can have a conversation about the opposite side of the coin. And that's what we're going to keep on doing. I'm not here to name call, drag, bash, harass, bully, stalk anyone. And I think that some of the Dougherty Dozen fans could definitely, kind of lay off of how deeply infatuated some of them are with Alicia's kids. It's very odd. But either way, for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.